to get it underway.
$15.
I can tell you his numbers behind his serve have been very impressive.
$40.
I can tell you, Brad, service game ones for Zverev, 90%, and the tournament average is just 81.
Take those numbers. 90% service holds.
Cain, Zverev.
And when he makes that first serve, he wins 78% of the points versus the rest of the field is just 72. So, testimony to how tough he is to break. Only 2 active players have reached more men's quarterfinals at the majors than Alex. That's Novak and Stan. And of course, very important that we mention Stan because he too was 28 years old when
he won his first Grand Slam.
That's right.
Right here in Australia.
There's a little bit of symmetry there that he'll be drawing on, Brad.
You're making me feel good about my guy. 28 years old.
Tommy Paul.
Learner Tien to set.
Quick look at the Tien camp there. So Michael Chang.
Oh.
Michael, of course, also from California. On the right of picture, his agent just behind, Max Merkel, who looks after both Lerner and Alex Mickelson.
$30.
Was one of our good friends, also from California, helped him in his formative years in a coaching capacity, and that was Chris Groh. Spent about 3.5 years with Lerner.
$40.
I think one of the best developmental coaches out there is Taylor. Big part of Brandon Nakashima's development in California. Of course, helped Tommy Haas for a number of years when Tommy was a top pro, about 4 years with Tommy.
40-50.
I think you also have to mention Eric Diaz in there. Eric Diaz, son of Manny Diaz, longtime coach at University of Georgia. Eric spent time with both Alex Mickelson and Lerner as they were developing and coming out on tour.
One game on.
Yeah, so often coaches from the early days get forgotten or neglected. It's not one of the biggest serves, but of course the fact that you're left, it always complicates matters, doesn't it? What do you make of this?
And that's the key right there. Once you get to that position, I think that he could create a little bit more length in the back of the swing, which would normally translate to more racket head speed up to the ball. He's definitely improved in his service delivery. And you're right, Robbie, being a lefty definitely helps. I think Lerner does a very good job of using his leftiness on the serve.
Wally, I heard a very interesting chat the other day, and I want to get your thoughts as well. Both these guys use the step-up serve, and Milos Raonic was describing the two serves. He uses the platform, and he made the observation that he thinks as a one-off serve, when you're stepping up, you might generate more power, but he feels over 5 sets, you'd get better consistency with the platform. It's an observation I'd never thought about, but he thought that the fact that you're better grounded with the platform serve gives you a better power transfer. You don't lean as much if you got tired.
Yeah, I fell in love with the platform serve after I saw Pete. Tinkered with it when I quit playing, actually, just for fun. And it's one less movement, and I think it helps enormously with developing players. One of the big things when you're teaching the serve is there's a real disconnect with a lot of players, because when they're young, they throw the ball way out in front, and it's a very directional serve. They're just paddling the ball to the direction they want the serve to go. But as they get bigger and stronger and you change to the continental grip, things start to change, and the ball toss should probably track the baseline. With the platform, it's sort of one less movement. Everything just seems a little easier to develop.
Third field.
One thing we do know about Zverev's serve, it's not only big, but it's consistent. Often, over the course of a season, his first serve percent can average just over 70%, and it's unbelievable. I like both of those shots.
Both guys looking pretty comfortable so far on serve. Sasha, great job spreading the court there. You got to have pace and width to really get the ball past Learner Tien.
Let first. Game is Zverev. Zverev leads by 2
It's not only the speed of the serve, but the bounce you have to deal with. It's 2-1. Brad, you've been doing a little bit of deep diving into the Zverev serve.
Yeah, I mean, serves in general. More the Learner Tien serve here.
Oh,
This is Tien's pace last year here at the AO 2025 versus his pace this year. And we look all the way through first to fifth sets. I mean, the fifth set, I think that's a big number, the biggest difference that we see there. I think that's a direct correlation to him having gotten in the gym and spent time working and developing his strength. But we see overall how he's just added gas to the serve. He's got a little bit more pop. You combine that with the lefty slider and action, and he's just doing a better job and getting through service games more comfortably.
Yeah, it's a very nice uptick. By my basic maths, about 10%. Those kind of gains are massive at this level. Oh, one of the things that Brad has highlighted with the Tien serve is the uptick in the speed in the 12 months from last year here. It's almost about 10% in pace. Still got nice movement through the air.
15 love.
Maybe not as much as 10%, but certainly in a sport where you talk about incremental gains of 1 or 2%, it's a lot more than that. It's probably closer to about 6 or 7% quicker. And that's going to be an interesting battle in the overall war, because Tien likes middle on the juice and out wide on the ad, but
yeah, Sasha's long, 6'6", long levers.
he loves the backhand as well, doesn't he?
I think that's one of the reasons, you know, as you highlighted earlier, his success against lefties. I think one of the factors in there is his size and the quality of his backhand. He can neutralize a lefty forehand, where a lot of guys aren't as comfortable when a lefty takes the ball and hooks it off the court. Not a typical Sasha return game right here, though. 3 missed returns in this game.
They've gone with the L's, and of course I'm not sure that this guy's a learner
Game 10.
in the sense of still learning how to drive.
Does he have his license?
He's a quick learner, I'll tell you that much.
He is a quick learner. He's been a quick learner out here on the tennis tour.
Could become the youngest American in the Open era to reach the men's semi-final at the AO.
I'm not always a great judge, but I called his AO Junior Boys final, and I thought, I watched him play that final, which he actually lost to Blocks from Belgium, but I thought, this guy can't miss. He's too talented to miss. The only thing that concerned me was just his height. There wasn't much of him at the time, and he was quite slender.
That side is where he likes to step up and take it very early off the backhand side.
The backhand winners for the tournament, Brad. Number 1.
Robbie, thanks for setting me up. Makes me look so smart.
Learner
Tien, 45 off the backhand side, leading the tournament.
Zverev is 10 behind at 35. If you've done your homework against Zverev, you will also know that the power slot on the forehand is cross-court. Doesn't hit it nearly as hard down the line.
Yeah, Sasha tends to be a little bit of an outside of the ball hitter. It's natural for him to take the ball cross-court. He's done a good job so far of spreading Learner out on that side.
$13.15. Oh.
Both guys still trying to find their range a little bit on the return. I think of both of these guys as being exceptionally good returners, consistent returners, putting balls in play.
Yeah, I'm going to tell them about it. Yeah. Game Zverev.
That's some good ground stroking.
Zverev leads by 3
Forehand
games to
is
2.
looking solid so far after 5 games. We're on serve. And I believe it was a Tenderham Bridge that links Melbourne Park to the CBD. Nice, quick,
Time.
direct access from Flinders Street Station. And the outside areas now not as crowded for the main matches here on the Rod Laver Arena.
Lovely.
Just don't feel Learner has found his range just yet. Already 7 unforced errors.
Nicely done by Learner there on the forehand down the line.
15.
I think one of the things that's going to be interesting to see here is that Tien, I think, has had a lot of success against Daniil Medvedev because of where his return position is. He's able to spread the court out on both sides. Sasha pretty deep here on second serve on the deuce side. On the ad side, Sasha's standing up quite a bit closer than where Daniil would be,
13.
trying to take that angle away so that Learner can't swing him as wide on the ad side.
Interesting point here. Obviously, Learner just starting to find his range, and he's such an accurate player. And he gets Zverev on the run, so there's 2 squash forehands there that he wasn't able to make. And I called a match with Petch and Jim Courier at the United Cup. We were calling Zverev, and I said, is he athletic enough to take that next step to maybe topple Sinner and Alcaraz? And they were like, yes, he's athletic enough. It's more that he doesn't step up in the big moments. But there's a part of me that I look at Zverev and he moves unbelievably well when he's in control. But when he's not in control, turning defense into attack is tougher for him, just given his size.
Able to defend that time.
And that's, that's a feature of me. You talk about the big 4, and now we look at Sinner and Alcaraz. I mean, to me, it's their movement and their ability to turn points that they really have no right to win back into their favour, which just makes them so incredibly dangerous over a period of time, because they just start to make the court look really small.
So we see Tien going to the slider.
Yes.
The lefty can opener on the ad side.
Yeah, he needs to brush up on things. He's only made 44% of his first serves before this one, Brad, and he's made 9 unforced errors. Most of those coming from the forehand.
There again. Right on time for your comment, Robbie.
Zverev.
Little forehand error. Giving Sasha another look at a break point here. Do you step up and take a little bit more of that angle away if you're Sasha?
Cain, Zverev.
Oh, that's some good athleticism. Big bro will be happy, so will Dad.
Zverev leads by 4 games to 2.
It's a poor service game from Tien. He'll be disappointed. Sasha's done well on that second break point, but nothing special to get the break. It's more of a gift from the American.
Is it a little nerves from Tien? Is it just the step up in pace from Zverev that he's having to deal with? But the errors are not extravagant. I mean, he's clipping the tape with his forehand. He's just missing on some ground shots. But, you know, it's almost like those feet just have to pump just that little bit faster. Everything's just got to, he's got to come up a gear, Tien. There's no doubt about that.
Love 15.
Placed with geometric perfection.
Another error off the forehand wing from Tien. Nice maneuvering of the ball by Zverev, though, in that.
Spoke about the importance of the first serve, but I tell you what, he's been defending his second serve so very well this tournament too. Second serve points won, 58% for the tournament thus far for Zverev.
Here
we go.
Tien knocking on the door now. See if he can get the break back immediately. That was an interesting choice from Zverev.
30-40.
You don't see him go to the one-handed slice too often. Big point there at 30-all to make that decision.
And I thought he was even trying for the short slice.
Yeah,
there,
he was.
Brett.
I think he was trying to kind of slide that short into the court, make Tien have to come up into the court a little bit.
That's even tougher to execute, right?
Absolutely, and it's. I mean, I love that play, honestly, but definitely not the norm for Sasha. And yeah, he's been very slow in this game in general.
Yeah, he was slow to start it as well.
Absolutely.
Just a time violation, though. It's just a warning.
Didn't bother him. Sasha's gone to the a number of years ago. Remember, Novak used to bounce the ball 15, 17 times sometimes. And right now, Sasha's bouncing the ball consistently over 10 times.
Amazing that he doesn't wear a wristband, given how
Advantage.
balmy the conditions are.
Yeah, once the roof is closed, I think the temperature inside Rod Laver Arena is maintained at about 25 degrees. Not that he's not going to be sweating, but not the same as if it was open, that's for sure. Got a chance to see a little bit of the quality of Tien's movement and balance there on that point. Sasha had spread the court out pretty well on that first ball.
He's had a couple of nice forehands down the line. Normally it's more of a steer for him, but the fact that he's hit one or two nice ones, it's a barometer of his confidence off that wing. Classy play.
Incredible anticipation from both guys.
Zverev.
Tien stayed at home on that approach shot from Zverev. We'll see right here as he comes forward on the short ball. Opens the court, and then this one, Tien just waiting there for it. And then Sasha had the cross-court pass read.
Game with Zverev. New balls, please.
First serve to the rescue with the old balls.
Zverev leads by 5 games to 2.
He's in charge, yep. Up 5-2 is the big man. Every change of ends, he will reach into his bag just to check his blood sugar levels. Of course, type 1 diabetic is Zverev as we take a look at the forehand.
The load, the drive, the hip rotation, full extension with the arm there. Basically doing everything to maximize power on that ball.
Time.
KG opening 7 games. And Tien making a few too many unforced errors. The first serve percentage is too low. Paid the price in the 6th game, getting broken. If you're joining us for the first time today, I can tell you that Zverev has also just had a time violation for taking too long. But he won't mind. He's in a good position here. Learner with some new balls.
Love 50.
Nice little 1-2 punch there from Tien.
15.
That's meat and potatoes in his game right there. The slider wide and play into the open court. Nice angle created out of that backhand that time.
30-15.
Yeah, I think Lerner's great skill is he's just got a great understanding of his power and his accuracy. He very rarely does he overplay, but just sitting here courtside, it's almost like the power of Zverev is just unsettling him ever so slightly. A couple of mishit forehands, not by much, but he just needs to up the intensity of his movement fraction.
It's interesting, Wally. Lerner described himself last year when he was first coming out on the tour as a bit of a pusher. Not sure I'd call him a pusher, but maybe a bit of a grinder, counter puncher. But I think one of the things that he's been doing more of is
Game 10.
nice second serve there. He's being a little more aggressive with his shots. I think his mechanics, his technique is so smooth that you don't necessarily see it. He's not as physical in how he attacks the ball. It's so smooth that you don't necessarily recognize that it's coming off with a little more pace, but he's definitely hitting the ball a little bit bigger than he used to 8 months ago or so.
Yeah, and you're dead right. I mean, he's technically so sound. I mean, the sky's the limit, isn't it, as to what he can produce as he gets a little stronger as the years go by. But to me, yeah, it just seems to me those feet, you know, 2 steps instead of 1. He just needs to get a little more physical in some of these return games, if he can manage the first serve, which is awfully good from Zverev.
And we see Tien going way back here on the second serve. First point of this huge game. I don't like that return location from that deep in the court. You can't let Sasha hit a backhand there. That's the easiest shot there is on the court for him to pull that cross court out of that ball.
I feel like sometimes when the guys go back, they actually go back a little too far, and then when they crowd the baseline, they lunge forward. They're a bit too extravagant with their change in court position. Just have to moderate that a little bit.
It's the bounce, isn't it, Wally? That's
Yeah, it comes down
Tien,
to
yeah.
a great height, and then, you know, as Brad said, you've really got to think about how you're going to return from that position. I mean, the whole idea, I would have thought, would be deep to the forehand, and Lerner tried to smooth that ball out from maybe 5.5 meters behind the baseline, hitting with a flat trajectory. It's not going to work.
Yeah, changing it up again here now, staying up tight on this return. Unsuccessful, really, on the last 2 where he went deep. That's a lot better if you're in the Tien camp.
13-15.
We look at it from Zverev's end of the court, and you see Tien standing in there a little bit tighter again. I think you can look to maybe crowd him, serve to the body.
It's funny, in this game, you don't think Zverev's made A lot of first serves. You think the first serve percentage is down, but I can tell you it's right at 69%. 2 set points.
Game and first serve, Zverev.
Deceptively consistent, and we know it's big.
6 games to
Been the
3.
platform for Zverev to win the opener, 6 games to 3. And by making that first serve percentage of Zverev is bang on 70%. So good at defending his second serve. It really has been a feature of his numbers over the opening 10 days. Unforced errors for Tien, not great. Double digits. Four in particular, couldn't find the range early on. And if your first serve percentage is at 46 and you're making unforced errors as good as Tien is, he's going to be in trouble against any top opposition.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be difficult. You're doing most of the damage there. I think is done self-inflicted from Learner Tien. Not to take anything away from Zverev and how he played in that set, but the break that was given up by Tien was more a result of himself than it was of exceptional play necessarily from Zverev.
Time.
Well, it was a set of tennis where Learner Tien is just feeling his way in his very first major quarterfinal. Needs to pick it up, though.
Love 15.
Keeps looking at his racket after these missed ground strokes. I don't know about you, Wally, but I just get the feeling he needs 3 or 4 baseline rallies in a row where he's hitting a couple of balls and just getting that range dialed in.
Yeah, I agree. He needs a couple of physical points. He's an awfully smooth player.
30.
He just needs to amp up the energy just that little bit. Things come easily to him. I mean, he's so talented. It's just not quite the physicality in his movement for me. I mean, sometimes when you're just missing by small margins, you know, it's just, you're not in 100% the very best position you can be in.
Not an easy ball there from Tien.
40.
Kind of fight through this one here. Look how low he stays, though. Kept his center of gravity down and just fought that ball off. Was able to redirect it.
Let's second serve.
Does 10 to serve. A few too many double faults, does Tien. Third most.
Here we go.
As far as the guys remaining in the draw concerned.
Game 10.
Okay. Still room for improvement. I think
First
Elena
game,
would be the
second.
first to tell us, Brad. Good thing is, he is a quick learner. And again, I remember having a chat to a teenage coach, Chris Grow, and he says one of the greatest talents he thinks young players could have is your ability to take on information quickly, Brad. Where you tell them to do something and they're able to implement it in practice straight away. Don't have to keep reminding them. This guy was one of them. Look what I found.
Sasha dictating well through the first portion of that point, and then everything turned around. Tien found a forehand up the line that hurt Sasha a little bit, and then went line to line. Forehand line, backhand line winner. Great stuff.
Tough to defend against those linear strikes.
15.
And just to get back to that talent of being able to learn, just when you learn so well, your rate of improvement becomes so exponential, doesn't it? Because it's good stuff upon good stuff upon good stuff. There's not a half a step back for doing the wrong thing each time, Brad.
Yeah, you're so right. I think part of that is being a great listener.
Yes.
13, 15.
An active listener, so that you're absorbing that information. And you're exactly right, Robbie. From a coaching standpoint, if you have a student that is a great listener and absorbs information easily and quickly, and then is also able to translate that to changing whatever it is, whether it's footwork or whether it's swing mechanics, that happens more quickly, and you get to progress to the next thing. What's the next thing we want to work on? I think it's always interesting when you work with young players, because
14, 15.
generally you can get kids at very young ages, even 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, where they play pretty mature technical tennis, sometimes even tactical tennis, but they aren't necessarily very mature. And we're often trying to accelerate that process to get their maturity level, to come up to the maturity level of how they swing a tennis racket. And Learner seems to be one of those guys that he got the maturity level itself beyond how it looks when he swings or moves a racket. And that gives him an opportunity to play like this at a younger age. I think that's a commonality generally, not always, but generally when you see players that you consider to be more kind of prodigy types. That was a U.S. Open type let cord right there. U.S. Open notorious for having incredibly tight nets.
Wowza, that was high.
That ball bounced up so high. Sasha's doing some court cleaning.
Yeah, some wildlife.
I mean, we're in Australia. That thing could have been poisonous. Maybe not. That is not an easy volley from up there. High backhand volley carved off the court.
15.
Another let cord here, one that went through the court this time. Not necessarily a great pass from Sasha, but being up above the shoulder there is not an easy volley.
30-15.
Easy to forget that Zverev was doing big things at a young age as well. His first 2 Masters 1000s that he won in 2017. He's beaten Djokovic and Federer for the title.
Yeah, that was a nasty lefty can opener right there. Short in the box. Really stretched Zverev out on that one.
Again, I'm going to be picky here, but when Lerner hits that nice backhand slice cross court, I'm more than happy to give Zverev the line. His power slot is cross court there. If he does go line, he goes with a lot more height and flight. It's a slower shot. It's generally more conservative. It's coming into the court. Good reach. Good hold. Definitely striking the ball a lot cleaner.
Then leads by 2
It's
games
2-1.
to 1.
Okay, Bradley, what do you got for us this time?
And we're looking at some return position here. This is Tien versus Medvedev. As I mentioned earlier, you know, Medvedev, we know, is notorious for standing very deep in the court, and you look especially on the ad side, look at those blue markers where he was returning well outside the doubles alley on so many different balls. And then we look at Sasha taking that ball earlier. He's also on those blue ones on the ad side. He's outside the doubles alley, but taking that in an earlier position, being able to drive the ball onto Tien just a little bit earlier and take a little more time away from him. Big difference in those 2 matches.
A nice spot. Nice illustration as well. I do believe Zverev has just given himself a shot of insulin. Tends to do that on one of the quads. Type 1 diabetic, came out a couple of years ago now when he was speaking about that. I remember when he was looking into his bag, which he tends to do and has done throughout the course of his career. A couple of journos were a little suspicious of what was going on there. Some thought that his dad was sending him text messages, but of course that was all nonsense. And he was just trying to keep it under wraps. And he was indeed a type 1 diabetic, but has been very open about it now. Incredible what he's been able to achieve, given he's got that condition.
And the depth and accuracy on that first ball forehand.
15 left.
Serve and 1 out of that ball is that isn't your typical serve and 1. Bisected the corner there with that.
It's kind of good of a forehand down the line you'll ever see from Zverev.
30 left.
Robbie, you don't love his forehand down the line, eh?
I don't. I've watched enough of him. No, I've watched enough of him play, Rod.
I believe you.
I tell you what we do like, though, is the rhythm on his serve. I mean, spin is control. Every serve he hits with a modicum of spin. He's very accurate. And with this roof closed, I'm not sure he's going to lose. There's no variables. I think it's going to take Lerner to start making some quality returns to unsettle him. And that's getting awfully difficult. And I think the roof closed, I was trying to make up my mind, is that a benefit to which player? I have to say right now it's suiting Zverev right down to the ground. Open that roof, you've got wind, you've got sun. There's no way he's serving quite this well. And it's a real problem for Tien. He just can't make a quality return.
Wally, it's not helping Tien's cause that Sasha's actually at 89% so far in this early portion of of this second set, pushing he's up to 74% overall through the match now on first serves.
Yeah, and he's just hitting his spots, and it's hard to know what's going to take him out of this rhythm. He just looks so comfortable.
Robbie mentioned it earlier, and his service percentages.
It's a joke, right?
It's a joke. It's just kind of almost incomprehensible how you serve at this kind of a percentage. I look back when he went through that period where he kind of had the yips on the second serve a little bit, and he used to avoid hitting second serves based on the fact that he was serving 70 to 80% first serves all the time.
Percentage of first serves over the whole season was this guy, 72%. And we all know he's not just rolling that thing in.
Yeah.
No, but then you'd have to say, even when he serves above 200, it's still within himself. He's not striving for power. It's just easy power.
Wally, it's funny that you just said that, because when you were talking before, it made me... shanked that ball and put Learner in an uncomfortable position, and he could see he wanted to jump on that last ball, but literally wanted to jump. He did. But Wally, it reminds me a little bit of Eazy-E in golf. Ernie Els. Swing looked like it. Didn't have all that much acceleration because it was so smooth. That's the way I look at Sasha's service motion.
Yeah, and I think, you know, the only thing that's going to take him out of his comfort zone is some great returning from Tien, but that is a lot easier said than done.
Went back to the drop shot. Missed it earlier, but
40-50.
great execution on that one. Zverev also was a little deeper in the court when he played this one. He's back behind the Melbourne sign there.
Game 10.
Hitting his straps now. Another comfortable hold for the learner. It's 3-2. First of the men's singles quarterfinals here at the Australian Open 2026. Doesn't get more Aussie than in excess. Doesn't get more Australian than Wally Mercer. Of course, we've got American as well alongside me, and Brad Stein. It's a good mix.
And what about you? Where are you from? Where are you from, Robbie?
He's a man of the world, Brad. He's the internationalist. You cannot pigeonhole Robbie.
First set points won. Big difference, as you can see, for Zverev. First set 71, second set 90%.
So, Brad, you coached Jim Courier. He was menacing. He was pugnacious. you know, he had a presence, and I think Lerner's, he's just got to get a little bit gritty here. He's just got to find a way, scrappy, whatever it takes. He's got to create a bit of a presence here on return.
Love.
Oh, that's just too good. Well, are you saying that Jim looked like a pug?
Pugnacious fighter.
That's a great one.
He wanted to take you on, Jimmy. You know, you could sense him at the other end of the court. If you know what I'm saying, don't you?
Yeah, Jim was a bit of a street fighter.
Yeah, and
Lerner has that California cool about him in a way that you feel like sometimes he's not. Not going to question that, though.
And that's a brilliant shot, and that's what he's capable of, but it all comes down to getting this return back into play, and he's really got to... Oh, that was on the line too, so that's an excellent shot, isn't it? He's really got to demand a lot of himself here, Lerner. Got to be so switched on just to get bat on ball.
Tried to jump on that one and take it early. But what I was saying, Wally, is that Lerner's disposition and his presentation on the court is a little bit calm, cool. Sometimes almost gives you the impression that he's a little bit less engaged, that he's, you know, like you said, he's not there for the fight. But I think he absolutely is. It's just how he presents it. It's just a little different look.
So these are telling moments now, 30 all. This is good.
30 all.
Quality return. It's pretty good depth there, right through the line. Not much Zverev could do about that. Now, does he guess? Cover the wide.
Quality first serve again.
2-11. And accurate.
Game Zverev.
What a weapon that is. 30 all.
3 games up.
And Brad, I'll tell you how big of a weapon it was in 2018 when he won in Madrid. He only faced one break point the whole tournament when he won it. The whole tournament, one break point.
Yeah, that's where do we sign up for that?
I mean, I'm happy to start $1.5 million in the hole with a serve like that and then see how much I can make with it.
It's hot outside, but it's heating up in here. Best rally we've seen in the match.
Love.
Much better ball striking from Tien. But Sasha not giving in at all. And then this last air, the positioning, he got a little bit close to the ball. Just couldn't free himself up for the swing. Much needed response right there from Tien. Sasha's turn now. A little bit of pressure on the Tien serve at 30-all.
Just long, but gee, Sasha looks good. He's just hitting the ball so freely. I mean, when you're serving this well, it just kind of gives you the confidence to open up your shoulders on return. He's not expending too much energy on the service games. I think Learner might need to put a call through to the referee's office and ask how the heat stress index is going. Let's open the roof. Let's create a few more variables. Sasha looking very smooth.
Unfortunately for Learner, he's going to have to deal with the roof being closed. Once it's closed, they don't open it up again.
No, it's going to be throughout, of course, but and rightfully so, because the index had hit 5 just prior to this match, but certainly helping Sasha at this point.
Learner looking to me just a little bit quick between points and serves right now.
Advantage.
Yeah, that wasn't quick, that was perfection. This is going to be on the very back of the line here. Zverev thought it had missed. Was hoping it had missed.
Oh, what a great view of it there.
New balls, please.
It wasn't some of his best tennis, but it was good enough to get the hold, and that's all that matters. 4-3. I'll tell you what, Wally, some of that music there on the change of ends, I'm sure Tien thinks he's very much back home in California.
Southern California cool, you're absolutely right. It's pumping up a little bit now. Maybe Learner can channel a bit of the energy in the stadium. He's got a lot of support in the crowd, I can tell. He's a very popular young player. He plays such an attractive style of tennis.
Yep.
Very engaging, and as Brad said, he's got that calm demeanour. He's going to be in the top 10, I would say, not too long, maybe by the end of this year.
Time.
Well, it is very warm out there, the hottest day of the Australian Open so far. We're expecting peak temperatures of 45 degrees in about 2 hours. We're in the low 40s right now, and of course the heat stress index right before the start of this match hit 5, therefore the roof was closed, and it will remain so for the duration of this match.
We always talk about the heat stress index in terms of the players, but there's probably about 3,000 or 4,000 ticket holders that if the roof remains open, they are in direct sunlight. So the fans, I'm sure, are very happy about the situation.
He's going to change it later, you know what I mean? You change it later. He looks to see where you're standing, and then he makes the adjustment, okay? You don't show him what you're doing.
Some interesting direction there from Michael Chang to Learner Tien. We were talking earlier about his return position, especially on second serves. First point.
So that return it's gold. And there's Michael. He's on the edge of his seat. He's urging his player to find a way.
Yeah, he was telling him there, Wally, on the changeover, to show Zverev his position and then adjust again, because Sasha's looking up and he's adjusting serves based on where he sees Tien.
It was tie quickest serve for Zverev in this match.
Legend first.
So cheap. For the first time, he's looked at strings.
13-15.
But Brad, your thoughts as well on having a predetermined play, maybe chipping one side and hitting the other when you're playing against a server that's got so much pace and bounce.
Yeah, I'm a big believer when you're playing a guy like Sasha Zverev, who has such a devastating first serve. Free point the other way now. Both guys getting to 30 all on the other serves here for the last few games. But also, if you look at, Tommy played Pecci Pericard first match of the year this year. He played Riley Opelka in Adelaide, and just very hard to try and be neutral and hit from both sides. Whether you're more comfortable blocking or chipping off the backhand or the forehand, to me it makes sense to kind of predetermine that, okay, if he comes to this side, I'm hitting, but if he comes to the other side, I'm going to be looking to block.
Mm-hmm.
What a pass. Great lunging return right there, Robbie.
So a great lunging return there, a great lunge return or a great block on the first point, and that's sometimes what it takes. Just got to get bat on ball and fight.
Too true.
Massive opportunity here for Tien.
Hasn't had a break point since midway through that opening set.
Yes. Erased.
I was going to say to you boys before he served, does he just pick a side? Does he just guess? Give him one side or the other in that situation?
It's so tough because I'd feel guilty if I've guessed and he hasn't hit an accurate serve. I've gone the wrong way.
What a penetrating final ball there from Zverev. Both guys competing right now, though. Digging in, cutting down on the airs.
Biggest serve by 2 kilometers an hour, that last first serve.
Clever tennis there from Learner Tien. And Wally, there you go. What a great return.
Keep using that forehand line. Let's go. Great return, great return.
There's the tennis intelligence. Such a late change of the grip. No way Zverev could see it coming. He was already moving backwards, looking for the big forehand to defend. Michael Chang's kids there delighted.
Advantage.
Great serve from Zverev. Sitting next to Kent Kinnear, the head of USTA men's tennis.
Fellow fly fisherman is Kent.
And to go back to that little discussion about blocking, Robbie, I mean, two of the best examples of that are two of the Swiss boys.
Yes.
Roger Federer, Stan Wawrinka. Roger would block and chip off the backhand side, hit the forehand. Stan, especially when he would take the return early, block the forehand, hit the backhand.
Cain Zverev.
It's a huge hold in the context of this set, perhaps the match.
A great game, though, from Tien, and I think, you know, he's starting to understand that Zverev's serve is not going to go away, so there's a couple of battles within every point. There's the battle to get the serve back, and then there's the battle of the point, and I think he's starting to get it. You know, it's not going to come easily. It's almost like he's got to stand there and return like he's about to get punched in the face. He's got to have that sort of energy to be ready to move really quickly and do whatever it takes to get that ball back in play. And there was a couple of great examples of that. There was maybe one unforced error in the middle of the game there that hurt him just that little bit, but that was a good game from Tien. But now he's got to knuckle down and do it all again.
Big game here to settle back into. I think it's so common. So common to see younger players come out of a game like that where you have some looks. You have a couple break points and you're not able to get through, and then behind that they drop off and they play a little bit of a weaker service game. We'll see Tien's maturity here is beyond his years. A couple of traded errors there.
Points won by rally length. See, the longer the rally progresses, the more it's in Tien's favour. Not by a huge margin, but decent amount. That was the Jimmy Connors backhand, wasn't it? That flat one, he's almost hitting on the inside of the ball.
I thought the exact same thing when he hit that ball, Robbie. He took that absolutely on the inside of the ball. A little bit of side spin on that ball.
Of course, the key there, the legs, to get almost underneath it.
14-15.
Spank you very much.
And a great response from Tien here in this game after having those looks in the last game.
It's one of the best forehands he's hit.
14-13.
So that's not always his comfort blanket. That was nice. Again, barometer of his confidence, this shot for me.
I think full commitment to that swing as well, Robbie.
Of course, that was the message when he was working with Uncle Tony Nadal, wasn't it?
Yeah, no doubt whatsoever.
Yeah, told him he's
Making
got to
that
be
swing.
braver.
Well, I may have spoken too soon. Great forehand from Zverev, and then a double.
No doubles from Zverev.
And now look at a second serve. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Zverev.
Advantage, Tien.
And I will give Tien props, because if you are going to give a space to Zverev, where are you going to give it to him?
Cross, oh, sorry, down the line.
That's right.
He was covering the cross court. But
You still shouldn't miss that, should he, Brad?
Sasha's not going to miss that ball very often.
Yeah.
And what a big point that turned out to be as well.
Tien.
I'll put a little asterisk alongside it for
Tien
you.
leads by 5 games to 4.
It's 5-4.
Man, that was a big miss. Easiest of balls. Tien breaking to the other side of the court. Could have just bunted that into the court and it was going to be a winner. To get to a break point.
Time.
First of the men's quarterfinal matches today. Carlos Alcaraz and Alex de Minaur will take to center stage this evening. Things will be a little cooler for them. It's actually not too bad now with the roof closed. Heat stress index reached 5 right before the match. That's why we're playing in indoor conditions, folks. It's in the low 40s outside. And that's Celsius.
Yeah, I thought you meant it was. No, never mind.
15 left.
Big winter storm going on back at home.
I know.
On the East Coast.
Yeah.
Those people would love it if it was 40 Fahrenheit.
I hear you. So my son is at a university in Texas, but they even had snow there, Brad.
Wow.
Nice return, saw that nice and early. And sometimes on the first serve when I watch Learner, foot speed is a non-negotiable in the modern game, but reach is important when you're at the net and when you're returning. It's handy to have those telescopic arms and reach. And Learner on that backhand wing at times on the first serve, he just doesn't have the reach. And it's foot speed, as I say, doesn't count when a guy's serving at you at 215k.
30-50.
Telescopic arms, Wally.
Well, there's some big units playing, you know, and they can kind of set themselves, and then they've got that long reach, able to block balls back or just make more balls. But Learner, unless he sees it early, particularly on that backhand wing, he's getting beaten by some pretty big margins.
I like the aggression. I like the attack from Zverev. Knew what he wanted to do with that last ball, but the execution just wasn't there at all. Trying to carve that off short angle for a winner. Tien, great job keeping the ball down.
And reading that forehand cross court. That's dangerous, that side. He can do anything with it.
He didn't have a lot of choice though, did he, Robbie? He was forced in to come in, and that was the open wing. I mean, this is a great return, and that is a brilliant response to get that ball short and low. And Zverev, in that particular part of the court, given the scoreline, not bad.
Well, it's always an eternal discussion and conundrum that I have in my head on such a big point like that. Do you play the correct approach shot there, but it's going to an opponent's strength? Or do you actually hit perhaps the wrong, in inverted commas, approach, but it's to his weaker wing under pressure?
Or do you bunt it up the centre tee to take angle away and just kind of make a nuisance of yourself?
Yep. But I want to keep it away from his backhand. That would be my feeling.
Hindsight would prove you correct, Robbie.
And just to finish off that point, I think when there's
Advantage, Zverev.
quite a big disparity under pressure, if you have a look at the backhand versus the forehand, I reckon that's a conversation you have with Michael before the match. When these scenarios come out, you're in a 50-50 decision-making space. We've got to go to the forehand. If he beats you with his weaker shot under pressure, too good.
Game, Zverev.
Nothing weak about that serve. It is reliable as you get.
He's doing well, though, isn't he, Tien? He's making little inroads, obviously, you know, in the previous game and that game. And he mustn't be dispirited. He must look upon that as I'm building pressure and I'm starting to win some of those little 50-50 battles on return. So the signs are good.
Yep.
But as Brad said, you know, now you put all that energy into return, you cannot blink on serve.
And the pressure is absolutely building as the score is progressing in the set now. 5-all.
Creativity of this guy is so easy on the eye.
15 left.
What an angle out of this ball. What an angle.
Nothing in the second set. Practiced in the art of deception. Not for the first time.
30 love.
And how difficult is this shot to play from where he's in the court? That's amazing. That's just incredible feel off the forehand wing.
Big point there for Sasha to get his little tiny hold into this game. Try and put a little pressure on Tien. Nice serve. Caught Zverev looking for a backhand there.
Tennis, artistry, it's all happening. 6-5.
Tien leads by 6 games to 5.
Идите поспите, блядь. Долбоёбы, блядь.
Just have a look how he holds the follow through nice and strong through the ball. Doesn't let it just fall off his racket. Creates the pace. Perfect technique. Nice early prep. Coming in on the backhand, which we know is dangerous. It's a pretty good attempted pass. But once again, have a look at the control of the racket place from Learner Tien. He is such a talent. Now,
Time.
I'll tell you what, they've made a good effort there with the t-shirts. My drinking team has a tennis problem. I like that a lot. My favorite all time, maybe not t-shirt, but poster in the crowd. I think it was in Shanghai many years ago, maybe 10 years ago, Brad. And it was back in the day when free Wi-Fi was hard to come by. And there was that poster that one guy had that says, "I love Roger Federer more than I love free Wi-Fi." It's pretty good.
That is a good one. I think in the changeover there, as Sasha was finishing, that game ended, he came over. I think he was a little unhappy with the lack of verbal support from his box. I think, I could be wrong, but I think that he gave a little signal there that they were sleeping.
so what he's basically saying is, I'm paying you guys handsomely to be animated.
You know, they're all family. That was a good one, Wally. I liked it. That was the one you've been talking about, Robbie. Played forehand line there with not much on it. Not a lot of conviction in the swing. The ball sat up a little bit, and Tien made him pay the price.
And I think he's a lot more braver with that shot when the scoreline's 2-all, 3-all. But you know, towards the end of a set, when things are getting tight, I'm more than happy to give him the gap there, see what he can do.
30.
I mean, that is just the ultimate eraser, though, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. It comes back out of that not particularly well played forehand, and the response is 206 down the tee, untouchable.
And he's serving at 78% first serves in the set.
Consistently finding a way to get into these games now, these returning games. So this has been a big effort from Learner Tien, because we've talked about just the quality of the Zverev serve today. So more pressure building. And that previous serve to this side was 206 down the middle. And Learner, he saw it, but once again, just didn't have the reach to get bat on ball.
There we saw him moved early to the tee. Zverev's accuracy wasn't quite as good on that serve, a little bit more in the middle. It actually jammed Tien up.
Cain, Zverev.
It's
6
just,
games all tiebreaker.
it's the ultimate tennis weapon, isn't it? Always keeps you in the mix. Certainly has done that for Zverev at the tail end of the second set. And it's tie-break time.
Nice service of his own there from Learner Tien. Little lefty action to the tee. Deuce side.
Brett, I'm just having a quick look at Zverev's tie-break record last season. A very healthy 63% success rate. It's good. Anything over 60 is impressive.
Not if you're Arena Zabalenka, she wouldn't be satisfied with that.
She is in a different galaxy.
20 tiebreakers in a row she's won. Sasha is doing some serious damage on that tee serve on the deuce side.
2-1.
He's going there quite consistently.
Yeah, and I like the way he's taken away that chip forehand return with the serve and volley. It's good tactical acumen there, good realization of what's happening.
Sasha opting to play the forehand down the line again there early in that rally, Robbie. Tien pretty consistently when Sasha's gone forehand line, he's come back with the forehand back down the line.
rewarded for his bravery on the forehand on that occasion.
Let's go, Learner.
3-2. Zverev.
Just a look to the corner, wanting some information. I don't know if he's looking what direction of this first serve.
Learner just can't get himself into the point, can he? The serving is, it's too good. He's doing his utmost. He's fighting so hard to make some inroads, but this tie-break, he's just been taken out of the equation on return.
I mean, he's made almost 80% of the first serves in the set, Wally, not even the tie-break, the set.
It's been a serving display, hasn't it? Everything up at around 200. And even when he shapes the ball to the corners, a slider, it's in 170s, 180s.
So well done from Tien. He measured that short ball so well as he was coming to it.
The crowd have erupted. They want this young man to carry on in this contest. And I think the key to this one, Brad, I mean, he came into the backhand.
4-3.
Unusual for Zverev to offer the slice in this situation, but he just floated it. Nice step, so then he had perfect net position, split his step. Didn't hit it too hard on the approach.
He was so well controlled. That was a bit of a mishit that actually got up on Tien. A little bit of an uncomfortable position there for him.
5-3. Zverev. Zverev.
And return serves for Zverev in this set is at 43%. What a lovely time just to swing the average in your favor if you're Learner.
Oh, goodness.
He's just pulled the river cod.
Absolutely stole that point.
You can't teach this, can you, boys? I mean, just instinct. He held his ground beautifully. Sasha did everything right. Of course, it's hard to be aware of where your opponent is. He's so focused on the ball. He guessed right and controlled the racket face.
Tien.
What a time.
Taken.
Learner Tien with 2 forehands.
7 games to 6, 1-7.
To steal the second set from Zverev. We've got a match on our hands now.
Those final 2 points. Dream stuff if you're Learner Tien. He set that last point up so well with the wide serve. Short in the box. Pattern that he goes to so often.
But there is no hesitation when he goes for that final forehand. That's what I love. The unbelievable trust he has in his ground stroke.
Full commitment.
They say repetition is the mother of skill. How many of those would he have hits in practice? And just hope for the opportunity on the biggest of stages, in the biggest of moments, to pull it off. Well, a California kid rose to the occasion. It's not always easy to elevate your level of play in the biggest of moments. I think it's more common for the best players. What they're so good at doing is maintaining their base level of play, and so often it's the other guys whose level drops. But it's nice when we can see a youngster step up like this, Brad.
Yeah, and raise his level. And you know, that the play where he made the pass down the line off of the Zverev swinging backhand volley. I think he read that play. Sasha got to the point where it was going to be very hard for him making a full swing there to try and take that ball down the line. I think Tien is absolutely seeing all the sight keys that are available out there to recognize that Sasha almost had to take that ball cross court. And then he's just sitting on it and was able to just kind of guide it, shove it down the line for a winner.
Set a piece, set number 3.
Well, I'm just sitting here trying to digest what just happened. In the blink of an eye, I mean, Sasha hit that one forehand long up the line, but he didn't decelerate. I mean, he went for it. It was not a bad shot. Dismissed by the smallest of margins, but he didn't really do anything wrong necessarily. It was just the brilliance of Tien. What I love about Tien in that set is he really accepted the challenge on return. You know, he went back, he went forward, he's tried anything.
You gotta cut it off, that's why. Yeah, either you gotta go forward, cut it off, or you gotta go back. Yeah.
Bit of advice there from Michael, but you know, he absolutely accepted the challenge, and of course that challenge continues. I mean, it's only a set all, but I was a little worried that the exterior was a little too calm. but the fight was there from Tien to stay in and put pressure on return, and he's done an amazing job of pinching that set.
Oh, the death is suffocating. It's a joke.
30-50.
Great return there.
I mean, look at that, an inch from the line, not once. Multiple occasions. I think we got a quick glimpse of Angie Kerber in the crowd there. Was playing in the Legends event. Former champion here, of course, is Kerber.
The only other player, coach that's had enough courage to jump in the Yara.
Cain, Zverev. First game, third set.
I'm trying to remember Angie's coach. It was Torben Belts, wasn't it? I think that's Torben that we saw with the towel around his neck there.
Okay.
No, it's not Angie Kerber next to him. Does have fair hair, does Angie. Unforced error from me. But of course, one of the great stories about Kerber winning here was she was match point down in the first round, saved it, and won the tournament. It's pretty unbelievable, the sport, isn't it?
Back.
That's a great offside ball from Learner Tien.
13-50.
What a pickup from Tien, followed up by the deft little touch on the drop shot.
He loves this little off forehand, doesn't he? I love the racket work. You can see how he carves under the ball, but then the racket is strong on the finish. Gets it to carry.
Great playing. Wally, I want to go back and just... I just have the feeling that what you were saying before about the forehand that Sasha missed in the breaker. In the first set, I just feel like he was hitting a lot more of those kind of balls cross court. Robbie was commenting that that's his favorite play, that he tends to be a little bit more. And that ball, he did commit. He went after it, but I think earlier on he would have taken that ball cross court, and that's his favorite play.
Yeah, it's The thing I guess I look for on the Zverev forehand is the deceleration.
Yep.
And I didn't see it on that forehand line, but you're right, it's not his go-to shot, is it?
Yeah, it's nicely done. And for me, gentlemen, that was always the biggest conundrum in my mind, was how much do you go to a player's weakness under pressure, or just in general? Because I was always scared of playing it into form and becoming too obvious. But at the same time, in pressure moments, I would want them to beat me with that weaker side.
Yeah, but Robbie, for me, it's always been my coaching to the players that I've worked with that under pressure, play your most comfortable shot.
Okay.
Don't overthink the situation I want to play here because of this. I'm going to play what I'm the most comfortable with, and I'm going to execute that to the best of my ability. And if that plays into the other player's best shot, I'm okay with that. I'm going to match my best shot against your best shot, and let's see who's better under those circumstances. That's always been my feeling. I'm not saying it's always 100% right, but that circumstance in the breaker, and I just felt like through the second set there, Sasha played a lot more balls down the line than he did early on. You commented it early. He was hurting Tien out to Tien's backhand side. And I'm not sure if Lerner was sitting on that a little bit more, and that changed. But
14.
Tactically for me, under those big moments, Sasha could have pulled that ball cross court a little bit more.
Game Zverev. New balls, please. Zverev leads by 2 games.
So we're on serve, early stages of the third, 1 set apiece. Oh, we're just going to have a little look here at what is going on with the return of serve of Tien. Of course, this is the second serve return in point. Set number 1, about 2 meters behind the baseline.
Yeah.
So what happened in set number 2?
Started taking it early. Started making those adjustments, getting the ball on Sasha quicker, putting a little more pressure on him. We saw him go back a couple times, and he didn't execute very well, and then he made that adjustment, and the rest of the set, he opted to take the ball pretty early, and as Wally said, that's the battle within the battle.
Yeah, it wasn't like he made a whole lot more meaningful returns. He made just enough. And Brad, as you know, in a sport where it's just 1 or 2 points here or there that can determine the outcome of a set, that's all it was.
Time.
Just a couple more decent strikes, get in the rally, boom, thanks for coming.
Robbie, you see this, I'm pretty sure.
The 2 circles, right?
Yeah, that's the entrance from the Hobbit house.
What's that?
Bilbo Baggins' house. That's the door,
The round door.
the circle door that Sasha had to duck coming out of that thing for sure.
Yep. Not so much of a problem for you and I, is it?
No, we're basically built like hobbits. You have hairy feet, I think. I'm pretty sure.
It's 2 separate tunnel entrances there, you can see. Change things up this year, always looking to innovate. Here's the AO.
Love. 50.
That's one of the reasons we discussed at the very start of the match, if you weren't with us, that Zverev has such a good record against lefties. Of course, big bro, you just saw there, lefty himself. Just to remind you, 35 of his last 36 matches against lefties at tour level, he's won. The one loss, Lerner. Acapulco last year.
And that has to play in his head just a little bit as well.
Oh. 15.
Can also tell you he's on an 11-match win streak versus lefties at the majors.
That right there is about as big a mistake as Learner Tien's made in the last 45 minutes or so.
30 all.
Oh, the concentration required in a best-of-5 set match is just enormous. So after that incredible second set where he fought so hard and then pinched a couple of points in the back end of the tie-break, you got to do it all over again. A couple of double faults in this game. That'll help. Just this next 10 minutes, he mustn't think about the score. He's just got to think about time, staying level on the scoreboard for the next 10 minutes, get to that 2-all, 3-all situation.
Oh.
Yeah, the 2 double faults.
Advantage.
Unforced error.
Because you know this guy's just going to keep coming. I mean, there's a constancy about him. He's done it for years at the very highest level of the game.
Cain Zverev.
Oh, what a return on a big point.
Zverev leads
big time
by
play.
3 games to 1.
Tien has only got himself to blame. Those double faults digging him a hole that he could not get out of.
Behind the clock, Boga.
Tien supporter not happy with the outcome. Couple of fans coming in right behind.
Well, that was a mistake, Robbie. They opened the doors on an even game and people have come in from all directions.
Yeah, Wally, you remember the famous line from New York when John McEnroe was playing one year and same situation occurred and he yelled at the ushers, "I'll pay you not to let him in."
Mac did know how to control proceedings, didn't he?
That's New York for you.
Love 50.
Of course, these days spectators can move freely in the top tier, which makes a lot of sense. But obviously can be quite a distraction if it's behind the server's arm or behind the returner in the lower tiers.
$15 all.
And again, another big response from Zverev after losing that first point. I think Sasha was trying to jam him there on that first serve and didn't really get into him that much.
If you look at the contest between a server, a big server like Zverev, and a returner like Tien, and you kind of liken it to baseball, Brad, you know, you got your baseball pitcher and the batter, and over time you're trying to soak up as many pitches as possible. Try to take a little sting out of the fast ball pitcher. I think Tien's done a pretty good job of that, obviously winning the second set now and extending the match. I'm not saying there's any signs that Zverev's serve is diminishing, but let's wait and see another half hour, 45 minutes. Whether all the hard work to this point can pay some dividends and he starts to see a slight drop off in pace, or the percentages drop ever so slightly. But of course the big problem now is he's facing some problems here in the third, being down a break already.
Yeah, did such good work there. Not sure what happened with the forehand. Yeah, he got there with plenty of time.
Yeah, would love to see him take a normal swing on that ball.
Game Zverev.
Zverev taking away the chip return intelligently there with a certain volley. I like what he's doing.
Zverev leads.
And he's
by
raced
4
to a
games to 1.
4-1 lead in the third. Well, you've been in there, Brad. What's it like?
I couldn't see anything.
Of course, in Gym 1, yep. Brad joined him in the Yarra River.
Time.
Just a slight lap of concentration is what's separating these two protagonists in the third set. Two double faults from Learner in his previous service game. Accentuated by a beautiful return on break point from Sasha. That's what's the difference in them.
Love 15.
Definitely get the impression that Tien is just fallen off the slightest bit right now. That is well read from Sasha Zverev. Great return, but then to read that and follow it, come forward.
Love 30.
Yeah, that's a great play. And look, serve volleyed quite a bit the last couple of games on his own serve, so he's just come to the conclusion he's not going to let Tien scramble these balls back.
Yeah, just a little bit loose here. Unforced errors from the deuce side. And then Sasha, one really good point to be at a quick love 40, in massive trouble now. This set could possibly go by in the blink of an eye here after he had to work so hard for the second.
Well, you can just imagine what happened, Brad. He walks around Learner Tien after he's pinched that second set in the tiebreaker. He probably sits down, breathes a huge sigh of relief. His mind wanders, and Zverev the exact opposite.
Game Zverev.
Sasha opening up his game even more as well, coming in a little bit more.
Zverev leads
Seen him attacking
by 5 games to 1.
Twice in that game on a couple of different plays, different ways to come forward.
And at 6'6", he takes up a lot of space in your R line at the net, doesn't he?
He does, absolutely.
I mean, it's astonishing that he hasn't done more of this throughout the course of his career. He's not a great volleyer, but it's not like his hands are terrible. He's got good feel, and, you know, over the last 7 or 8 years, he had just been working on that little bit by little bit. I think he'd be further down the line with that net play, but nice to see him incorporating it here.
More serving and volleying. More serving and overheading.
Yep. And worth reminding that when Stan Wawrinka won his very first major title, it was right here in Australia, because he was the same age as Zverev is now, 28 years.
So guys, last night I called the match Ben Shelton v Casper Ruud, and I had Petch in the commentary booth with me, and Ryan Harrison, he was sideline, and you know, I was just saying I can't believe how good these guys are with the serve, with their ground shots, and how they don't take advantage of the net. And then last night Ben Shelton was 29 of 30 net points won. He did it perfectly.
Yeah, too little, too late sort of a response that.
30-15.
It's also interesting, I think, that, you know, Robbie mentioned, and I do think that Sasha went through a period in his career where he was being pushed to come forward more, and he kind of almost did it indiscriminately, and I don't think the volley was really at a level back when he was doing that where he had a great degree of success, and so I think he then got away from it a lot, and I think he's probably a better volleyer now. Still someone in his sight line that he's just not happy with. He's like a steamroller right now. Nothing can stop him.
Just what he would have wanted after that tough second set loss. Got 2 set points of his own now.
Oh.
Finishes the set with a flourish.
6-1. Zverev leads
Forehand,
by 2 sets
lighting
to 1.
it up on that occasion down the line. What a set of tennis that was from AZ.
Can I change? Somebody bring.
I think it's fair to say that was very good from A to Z for AZ. Was numbers heavily favoured on his side of the ledger. Learner not winning a single point behind the second serve.
Not bad, is it? 13 winners, no unforced errors in that set from Zverev. So he tightened the screws, and Learner, unfortunately, just a lapse in concentration from which he couldn't really recover.
Yeah, well, once he got behind that first break, it was kind of trouble and more trouble. Some of those 13 winners from Sasha, a fair number of them coming at the net. Be interesting to see if he continues to come forward that much.
Yeah, I made the comment too that I thought Learner had done a great job in that second set of just soaking a little bit, taking a little bit out of Zverev, just the amount of points that he got into in the return games. But that all kind of went out the window in the third set. He extracted nothing out of him in terms of tension or physicality.
Plenty to contemplate for the American Learner Tien. At the end of that third set, he was completely outplayed. Zverev has just gone for a change of clothing, so we'll get a full 5 minutes if needed.
Gives us time to talk about all kinds of things, Rod.
What's highest on your agenda, Brad?
My first thought was, you know, your passion for coffee in the morning.
Okay.
But I was thinking about my enjoyment of maybe a nice whiskey in the evening. Went to a little spot last night I like here in Melbourne called Whiskey Den.
Okay.
They have a lovely selection.
Sounds like
Time.
you sampled a fair few of them.
Not too many.
Okay, good. So many good restaurants, good coffee culture around Melbourne. They fancy themselves in this part of the world.
Conjuring up images, Brad, of you in a smoking jacket, a velvet lounge, a big cigar.
Wally, I'm not going to lie, I had a cigar also. No smoking jacket.
Set number 4.
Well, we finished with a great forehand from Zverev, and we start with a pretty sneaky little forehand from Tien here. Nice pickup on that ball.
Not for the first time. We've seen good touch on the volley.
It's a great camera shot there, wasn't it? Just how precise his racket work is. We've seen that too on the forehand drop shot. The follow through pretty much shows you where the ball has gone.
Game 10. First game, fourth set.
Okay. That was better than the last 2 service games. A lot better. So hopefully he's got rid of all the rubbish ones in that third set.
I have a feeling we're going to get a little bit more of what we saw in the second set here than in the third. I think Tien's going to get himself centered back here again and bring back that high level that we saw in the second set. Definitely don't expect him to be where he was again in the third.
Interesting for me just watching Learner go about his business in that third set when he did lose a bit of concentration. And it's a bit unfair to make comparisons with Nadal, but every time I watched Nadal play, whether he won a set or lost a set, he extracted something from his opponent that paid dividends down the track. Just worried me a little bit how quickly that set went.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Wally, but I also think that that's a little bit of a learning process for Learner. And I think that that's probably something that Michael Chang will address with him, whether he wins this match or loses this match.
Yeah, I just don't think in men's tennis in best of 5 you can let a set go. I mean, you can lose at 6-1, but it just has to be a bigger battle than that one was.
Oh.
Subtle brilliance.
Break out the protractor. What an angle.
30-50.
The touch and feel to get that ball past Zverev and down in the court.
Yeah, when you hit winners at 40 kilometers an hour, you know the placement is generally perfect.
Oh. $40-50. Cain Zverev.
Not this time. I like what I'm seeing from Zverev. I'm liking it a
One
lot.
game.
What's his net points one stat for now, Zverev?
18 of 24 for the match.
Not bad.
Take that all day.
And the thing for a player too, I think, you know, sometimes the current players, they might come in a couple of times and it doesn't work out for them and they just forget about the play entirely.
Love.
It's important to keep attacking. There's an accumulated degree of pressure. Maybe you lose a few, but you come in later on a big point and your opponent feels that pressure. And that one's been effective.
15.
It almost floats between being a drop shot and a short slice, doesn't it? And
Yeah.
it goes cross court with it. On this occasion, just digs it in there inside the service square.
Big forehand inside in there.
13.
Yeah, and that drop shot, well, you mentioned it earlier, one of the things that makes it effective is that he actually gets it there pretty fast. It doesn't float in the air at all.
No, he accelerates through that shot. Plays it beautifully.
That was good work from Sasha Zverev. Tien dictating the entirety of that point.
30.
Sasha defending it and not giving in.
It's the tougher drop shot to
40-30.
execute this one over the higher part of the net. Doesn't have the luxury of fading it over the center strip, which is the lowest part. It's still executed to perfection.
That was a bit of a shocking double fault. Missed that in the middle of the net.
Late first. Advantage 10.
Not a fan of that slice from that position, especially given the score. I think Sasha has more than enough time to get over there and actually make a full swing on that. Pick the ball up a little bit on the outside of the ball. Take that ball cross court and stay in the rally. Kind of defaulted to that slice early there.
Making much more of a fist of this fourth set.
2 games to
On
1.
serve, 2-1. Well, it's been such a pressure reliever, and it's more of the same in set number 3. Just wanted to highlight again how big and how accurate that first serve of Zverev was. And even after he's lost the second and he might be under a bit of pressure, it's anything but with that first delivery. He's hitting the aces to different parts of the court. The angle out wide on the deuce side is so good and acute.
I mean, look at that graphic. It's just confirmation of the fact that we know that Zverev is just a great server.
Being able to do it set after set. Even though he lost the second, was still serving big and accurately. It's one of the incremental improvements as well in this match for Sasha has been the net points won first set. 2 points won in the forecourt. Second set, 6, even though he lost it, showed good intent. Third set, 9 points won at the net. And Brad now keeping an eye on how often he decides to come forward in this fourth set.
Yeah, absolutely. And Wally mentioned it earlier. Impressive in my mind that Sasha Zverev, after losing that critical point in the tiebreaker where he did come in, tried to play a full swinging backhand volley and got beat. That was 5-all in the breaker. That in the third set, he continued to attack. Didn't get put off by that one particular play. Oh my goodness. Hands.
You can't teach this.
Love 15.
Well, there's a case in point. I mean, he had the short ball. He came in, and he shouldn't be upset by this. I mean, it was a brilliant shot. If he can continue to do this, too good. Not sure that he can.
Yeah, well done by Zverev. Right back to it.
So I saw Sasha's prize money, career prize money prior to this match. I think it was 58 million US dollars. So we're assuming he's financially secure. So what does he want most in life? I guarantee you it's win a major, win a slam. And how's he going to do that? Well, he's got to explore every parameter of his game to be the very best player that he can be to try to achieve that. Coming forward is part of that equation. Might cost him a match here or there, but if he absolutely wants to walk away from the game and say, I gave it every shot to beat the very best players in the world, and he's played in a pretty difficult era, let's face it, that's what he has to do.
Of course, did have a week in Spain, didn't he, with Uncle Tony? Spoke about that just to get his thoughts on his own game. Said Rafa couldn't have been more generous with his time as well. Of course, he was asked, are we going to see any of Uncle Tony travelling this year, meaning 2025? He said, not so much this year, but decent chance of it happening in 2026. So, exploring that option as well. It's a very clever shot selection. Wasn't sure which way Tien was going to go. Just crushed it down the middle.
But he was going to go one way or the other. Knew that.
Cain, Zverev.
Of course, after making the finals here last year, gentlemen, he really chased that #1 ranking, didn't he? And he regrets it. Well, they say talent hits a target no one else can hit, but genius hits a target no one else can see. We didn't see this coming.
You know, one of the things that stands out to me so much in watching Learner Tien is how quiet the racket head is on virtually everything that he does, whether it's volleying, drop shots, when he's hitting his ground strokes, even that pickup. The awareness of where the racket head is, he squared the racket head so well to the ball there, and it was so quiet.
Love 15.
It's nicely done. I'm curious, sorry, just to get back to the point about the scheduling after the Australian Open last year. He went to South America pretty much 2 days after getting back to Monte Carlo to try and chase that #1 ranking. He knew Sinner was out. Of course, Yannick was then serving that suspension after the Aussie Open, and there was a chance for him. Nicely done. To get to #1. Had to play well, though.
15 on.
Just put Sasha on a slippery slope.
Little opportunity here presenting itself.
$30 on.
It is Nadal-esque in so much as on big points. On the ad side, half and Rafa would go down the tee. 85% of the time it'd go the swinger out wide. But it'd keep you honest with that one down the tee, just like Lerner did there.
Well done by Sasha.
Sneaky good that was.
You know what he did in that point as well, Robbie, that I felt he didn't do earlier in the match, and I was actually thinking about it. And 30-all point there, look at his second serve. And earlier I felt like he was a little bit passive in just kind of wanting to get into those points and willing to make the rally. And I was thinking that, you know, when I watched Tommy play Carlos the other day. Oh, my goodness. That is just too good erasing that break point. But on those second serves, Carlos is just so relentlessly aggressive on those points, and he creates fear. And Sasha on that last one here at 30-all, much more aggressive return, stepped up, drove the backhand through the court. I think he needs to do more of that.
Advantage.
Tien coming up with some
10.
big shot making. Forehand before, and now really good serve out wide to the forehand of Zverev there.
Game 10.
That's some big time serving on some big
New
time
balls,
points.
please.
Got a lot of wriggle room. But Tien has wriggled out of that game to lead 3-2.
By 3 games to 2.
Time for a little bit of sustenance. It's amazing how often I look at the scoreboard or even a watch, and the time is either 1, 2, 3, 4 or 2, 3, 4, and it's exactly what it is now as I've looked up for match duration. Always remember break time at school. I look at my watch, 12:34. Always stuck with me. Amazing how it comes. Often it comes up, Brad. There it is.
Time.
Zverev has come close to winning a major on 3 occasions. He has been right there on the final Sunday. Led 2 sets to low at the US Open, couldn't get it done.
Robbie, you talk about time, 2 hours and 35 minutes, and probably the one thing for me has just been the consistency of the quality of Zverev's play throughout. There's been no real massive highs or massive lows. It's just been this incredible consistency. And from Lerner, we've seen a little bit of the opposite, the tentative start, moments of brilliance, a couple of lapses, concentration. Probably just speaks to their experience and age on tour. But this man in shot there, he's just been so level throughout.
$15 left.
And I tell you what, he is one of the fittest guys out there. He has never been shy of suffering. He's got Jez Green back in his corner. Such an important part of building him initially as an athlete. Had a project over 5 years when Sasha was younger to add 15 kilos of muscle.
I was actually was talking to Jez earlier
30 left.
today and asked him if there was anything specific that he might want to share about what they're doing with Sasha, and he said that Sasha at this point he's pretty happy with where he's at strength-wise. He's pretty happy with where he's at with his aerobic capacity, but he said their main focus now is trying to eke every little bit of speed development. The game continues to get faster.
40 love.
He said they really do a lot of speed work now. It's interesting.
Yeah, good insights.
Game Zverev.
I spoke about the major finals. Of course, Roland Garros against Alcaraz, last year against Sinner. Chased down the #1 ranking, as I said after, but didn't play well at all. Aces by set, very solid. And he said it was one of the worst stages of his career, actually, up until clay court season, where he finally won in Munich, but didn't enjoy what he did. Regrets it. Of course, he had a chance prior to that to get to #1 in the world. The highest Zverev's been is #2.
15 love.
We often remember that match against Nadal at Roland Garros semis 2022, where he tore his ligaments. He was 45 points away from being #1 in the world there.
And the scoreline was pretty healthy, wasn't it, in that particular match against Nadal for him?
You're right, Wally. They played for 3 hours, and the second set wasn't even complete yet. Nadal won the first 6-all, but he said it wasn't losing that match, and because he still could have lost the match, right? He said what killed him was that he could have gone to Halle the next week, made quarters, and be #1 in the world. He had 3 months to get 45 points.
Yeah, he really, at that time, for being honest, he probably merited it.
Yep.
This last one was a little bit different.
And you just hope that
13,
he's learned from what happened last year. I'm sure he has, because he's spoken at length about it. He'll be hoping to get to the big dance on Sunday again. But he's got to get through this guy first.
40-15.
Same section of the draw as Alcaraz and de Minaur. They will duke it out this evening under the Melbourne lights. He's sticking around, is Tien. He's right in this 4th set.
Time.
2 hours and 41 minutes. This one has been ongoing for. It is the first of the men's quarterfinals here at AO 2026. 95% of the draw has already gone home.
Full commitment on those returns. Here we go. Full commitment on those returns. Okay. Cover them all the way.
We're at the pointy end of the tournament now.
$15. 15 on.
Keep going forward. Okay? There's no body serve, so there's no body serve, so forward, forward. Let's go.
Let's go down.
Of course, it sounds louder than what it actually is because of our coach's microphones there, picking up the instructions from Michael Chang. Well, I love that terminology that you use, Wally, of implied threat. It's exactly what we saw there from Sasha, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess, you know, just the fact that he was coming in, he couldn't just float that chip down the central corridor. He had to try to make something happen, drew the error. So Zverev continuing to move forward when the time is right. He's done it well today.
$40-15.
You always ask me about, you know, writing down the correct stats. For me, I would almost put that down as a net point
Right,
one,
next
Brad.
point. Here we go.
Absolutely, yeah. Same as if he missed a pass.
Cain, Zverev.
It's just like a tsunami-sized wave of attack.
It is incredible,
It's coming.
the quality, just the quality that just keeps coming from the server. And really, his play today has just been of the highest level. We know that Tien is capable of a moment of brilliance, so there's no question Zverev has to watch out. But, you know, we're nudging 3 hours, and he has not really made a misstep.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
It's just brilliant. Tell you, another thing as well that I've noticed from Zverev today, there's been very little moaning or complaining. There was the one time. Oh, there we go.
Just the one time now.
Robbie, that was way too good.
Tell you what.
Right on cue. That was the...
But seriously, sometimes when a player complains to the coach or his player box, it's like, well, what do you want me to do? Hop out and make a difference? I mean, you know, the other guy will win some points.
Yeah. It's not like Sasha missed a bad shot there, right? Oh, put my foot in that one.
Here's another opportunity. 4-all, 15-all second serve. Is he a little aggressive here or just looking to get into the point?
Or prior to that previous.
30-15.
I don't like to see this. He's played really well with 2 hours and 47 minutes. I just thought mentally he's been good. One complaint about the team sleeping that you referred to, and up until this game, we hadn't seen anything else.
40-50.
Focus and the concentration, for the most part, has been good for Zverev.
I like Michael Cain's demeanour in the box. He's nice and calm, but he delivers a message whenever he feels it's relevant.
And it's decisive message, isn't it?
Yeah.
The delivery of it and the quantity of it.
I love the way he's talking to Learner about the return, because of course Michael is one of the great returners. You know, his energy to face big servers was second to none.
Well, that was a quality return right there from Zverev.
Here we go. Let's go. Yes.
Hanging around and building some pressure in this game now.
Advantage, Tien.
This is what you spoke about at the start of the match. The ability of Tien over the last 8 or 9 months just to sustain a good level of power on the serve.
Cain. Tien.
Placed with precision. What a linear strike. It's 5-4 to
Tien
10.
leads by 5 games to 4.
That's a constant for Learner Tien, that slider wide forehand line. Sets up with that semi-open stance, holds the ball. Very hard to read.
You wonder too at some point of his career, Brad, whether he sneaks in after a few of those sliders wide. I mean, it's awfully hard to play a telling return with the width that he generates off the serve. He'd have a few fairly easy volleys, I would suggest.
Yeah, I think that's a progression that he can get to for sure in the development of his game, Wally. Robbie, who's that?
There's a former champion. Speaking of lefties, I thought she was there earlier, but she is there now. Angie Kerber. What a baller she was. And if you weren't with us, remember when she won here, she was match point down in the very first round. Saved it, went on to win the tournament. Player supporting her fellow German. It was in 2016 and she won, of course she won the US Open later in the year, and finally a final major on the lawns at Wimbledon in 2018.
$15 love.
He has served 22 aces and not a single double fault.
And you know, Robbie, it's just a little thing, but it creates a little bit more pressure in both the second and now the fourth set. He served from behind the entire time. He's always been serving second, just like this, now serving 4-5. A little bit of extra pressure often felt serving from behind in these situations. Sasha has not felt it at all, it seems like. Well
40
left.
love. Game Zverev.
Strong hold from Sasha. Always plays with this. There's 3 chains on.
5 games.
Big gold chains. It's, carry a lot of meaning for him. It's got one is the same one that his brother has. The other's the same one that his mum has. And another was given to him by his grandmother.
And Robbie with gold at $5,000 US an ounce. Bit of money around his neck.
Of course, the 2 circles that he has there are the Aries sign, both given to him by his grandmother once when he was a little young boy. And when he was a young man, she gave him the bigger one. All the angles and answers in that rally.
It was one of those around the net post I couldn't quite see from my court. No.
Almost.
I've got a cameraman right in front of me. If you can't pick that up.
Some serious court coverage there.
40 love.
Just what the doctor ordered for Learner Tien. Close this game out at love if he can. Changed up his pattern there.
40-15.
Slider wasn't quite as wide.
Game 10.
That'll work.
Tien leads
Moving
by
along
6
quickly
games to
in this
5.
4th set. 6-5 it is. Tell you what, I bet this guy hits a lot of cones in practice. Precise nature of his ground stroking. How many times have we framed up a shot? And it has been right there, tight to the corner. You can see Zverev just in the background, just once again testing his blood sugar levels, deciding if he needs a little bit more insulin or not. Every now and then you'll see him just pop a little bit into his thigh. Of course, he has a special exemption to be able to take it. TUE is what it's called, a therapeutic use exemption. It's a condition he's had since he was a young kid. Speaking of young kids, got to strengthen those neural pathways from a young age. Get them seeing that ball height and speed. Whatever it takes, Brad, because I know Brad's got a couple as well. And he'll soon be introducing
Make him think on that serve.
to this beautiful game.
Get your chance, Learner. You'll get your chance. Okay, keep working at it.
Let's go. Let's go.
Michael Chang just encouraging him, and I think we're sort of reaching a point where he's just been bludgeoned for so long on this serve that he almost needs to get the first point to give him the belief or the energy that he can break.
Such a pity.
Yeah, we saw the block forehand return there. We talked about earlier.
15.
He hit a good one.
Good return
Kept
there.
it down
Here we go.
low.
I can tell you, when he wins the first point on serve, Wally, he's held serve all 14 times. 14 of 14 in that department.
Yeah, well, you know yourself when you're returning against a big server, you get that first point, you get a little spring in your step, you lose it, you're like, here we go.
This hasn't been broken in the match.
One point at a time.
15 more.
Great play, great play. There we go.
Some cheeky little movement from Learner down there at the other end. Before Sasha served that, he slid himself almost completely outside the singles line. Trying to bait Zverev into serving up the tee, and then as soon as the toss went up, his split step jump went hard to his left. Credit to Sasha. Mental toughness, not breaking down, not willing to give away anything.
Here we go, Learner, right here.
The game within the game, though, Wally. Tien blocking that forehand return into play again.
He does it well too, doesn't he? He gets the head of the racket in front of the wrist, he gets a bit of carve on it, stays low.
Just the third break point in the match that Learner Tien has had a look at.
30-40.
Where does he go?
All the first serves that he's made have gone wide on the pressure points in this set.
Very smart man, Rybakina.
Yes.
You're exactly right, though.
I mean, this serve's so good, even if you pick it. Look at it. I mean, look at that. 207 right in the corner. Even if you guess, you're still scrambling to make it.
Learner was taking a very aggressive position there as well, up on top of the baseline to try and return that.
Michael is telling him the body serve is non-existent, so be aggressive, cut off the angles.
That's brave tennis. Well done by Sasha Zverev. No hesitation in taking that ball and coming in.
Especially given he missed backhand volley earlier on in this game, using the 6'6" frame so effectively. That's a proper volley. This time it's Zverev's turn to anticipate well.
No substitute for reach at the net, is there?
6-6.
And really
Spread those
controlled the
wings.
racket face well, didn't he, on those two backhand volleys? It was funny, he missed the slow one.
Yeah.
6 games.
I feel like that was the first game that he really gave Lerner some opportunities on second serves. He missed more first serves in that game than any other game he's played so far in the match.
Ultimately rewarded for his bravery.
Robbie, I like where Sasha's at right now with his demeanor. Won that point and actually didn't look up at his box at all.
You're mixing those good
Just
forehands.
locked
You're
in.
mixing those forehands up the line, okay? Okay, here we go. Stay tough. Let's go. You can do it, Learner. Here we go. Here we go, Learner. Here we go.
This guy didn't miss a single first serve in the first tie break they played. In fact, there was only one missed serve that came from Lerner's racket.
Zverev.
Beautiful brutality of that Zverev first serve.
One point at a time.
Zverev.
Let's go. One at a time. Here we go.
Double mini break now for Zverev. Taking control of this breaker at 4-love.
Wunderbar! The backhand complementing the serve magnificently. Surely now. This is an unassailable lead.
That backhand's the kind of risk you can take, isn't it? At 4-love, you know, you've got a couple of serves coming.
Yep.
Scoreboard takes all that pressure away.
Zverev.
For the most part, his mental fortitude has been excellent today. Mind control from Zverev. Just 1 or 2 small lapses where he's had a go at his corner, but I think that's been a big contributing factor to the general play. The base level has been really high.
Well, this tie-break's almost a microcosm of the match, isn't it? Just high-end stuff consistently.
6 match points.
Zverev.
First double fault for the match that was.
6-2. Zverev.
There's never a good time for a double fault. But 6-love and a breaker is not a bad one.
6-3.
But man, it turns around.
Zverev.
This feels like it's obviously a big point. It's match point still, but if Tien somehow sneaks another one out here,
Yep.
pressure starts to build.
What a performance
3 sets
from
to
the
1.
German.
6-3, 6-7, 6-1,
He is through to the
7-6.
semi-finals here for the 4th time, and his pursuit for a very first major title is alive and well. His record against left-handers at the majors continues to be so impressive. 12 in a row now. But the serve was out of this world. It laid the platform, and the rest of his game was able to flourish off of it to eventually beat Learner Tien in 4 sets. 6-3, 6-7, 6-1, and 7-6.